This pretty little peace angel is hand painted by Linda Russell, Linda's Angel Arts on eBay. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I have a recording for you on January 2nd, 2025, and the subscriber would like to remain anonymous, and he's very particular about privacy issues. So you will hear that he has deliberately blurted out names and any kind of personal contact information. But what the subscriber did, he basically did it on my behalf, is he called Sheriff Daniel Isaacs, and I have no problem saying the name of our local sheriff, the Sheriff's Department, the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, which allegedly patrols this area. Allegedly. Right? So, he called on my behalf after viewing the recent videos that I uploaded. Now, again, some of the videos that I'm uploading now are a little bit older, but because I posted them maybe 2 years ago or even 3 years ago, many of you have not seen them. I have more than 2,000 videos. You can't possibly view them all unless you were with me from the very beginning. Most of you have not been. So I'm reposting some of the videos so that they repopulate and you can see them. I know that you are horrified just as I am, that this has been going on so long, and that the Sheriff's Department does absolutely nothing. Literally nothing. The former retired Sheriff Paul Hayes, suddenly they're affecting my throat, Paul Hayes, he did nothing too. At first I thought it was because he, all he wanted to do was retire. But after he retired, he ended up getting a job, like literally within, I think, 6 months, at the local high school or whatever, as some kind of security guard. I don't know what he did there. Well, I guess he couldn't stay home. A subscriber actually said that he may have been forced into retirement. I don't know. Again, I'm not a political person. I'm too busy here to follow everything that goes along around here. But of course, it's all affecting me directly. But I so appreciate this individual reaching out and calling the Sheriff's Department, and he recorded it. And he basically said that he told them that this is going to be recorded. It's a recorded line. So I'm going to play it for you. I hope you can hear it. Here you go.
Okay. God help me.
There's a lot of distortion.
Hi there. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you. I'm making a call for a friend of mine, and I would like to speak to the sheriff.
Sorry, I can't really hear your phone very well.
1 second. I would like to speak with the sheriff. He's not in right now. Okay, is that the only way to contact him? Can I contact him by phone directly and have him pick up and speak with him directly? So you're saying if I call the way I can get in contact with him if he's working directly? I'm really confused. My name is first off, but I prefer to be anonymous. I'm going to record the call, but I'm not going to reveal any private information. That's my intention. Like I would bleep out all the private names and everything like that. But I do have some questions I'd like to ask Miss. I think that's his name, Mr. County. And I have about 5 questions I'd like to ask him, and then, in a polite manner, and you just kind of conclude the call. So, do you think that with that information I could kind of expedite a call to him, or dispatch? I don't even know what dispatch means, but maybe let's try that.
See, I want to explain who dispatch is. Dispatch is basically 911, which is really bizarre because in most cities and states, when you dial 911, it is an emergency, but that's not the way it works here. 911 here is dispatch, and the person then takes your information and then reroutes it to the appropriate avenues. So if it's an emergency, he'll plug it into emergency. If it's you know, a crime, he'll plug it in one direction. Dispatch is generally the person that takes down the information and then distributes it. But every once in a while on dispatch, you'll get an officer or, you know, somebody who's on call. But generally, it's like sort of like, I guess, what you would consider to be a call center, but it's not really a center. It's just somebody assigned at that time to take the information and then disseminate it. So, I mean, obviously, you know, my subscriber would not have known that, and it's actually a little confusing.
Well, if you... Okay. All right. Thank you. Hi there. How are you, sir? I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you. I was transferred over from the main numbers, and I was calling in regards to a friend of mine, and I wanted to speak to County Sheriff. I wanted to ask. I needed to ask her. I was intending to ask about 5 questions in a kind of expedited, polite manner, and conclude the call. I would like to record the call and not give out any personal information, you know, that kind of thing. So could you transfer me to his direct number, or is he working today? Okay, this is in reference to a friend of mine. Her name is, my first name is, I would prefer to remain anonymous if possible. Yes, sir. You mean like a private call? Well, I'm not sure how to put that into words. My intention is just to speak with him. I'm a private, I guess you can classify me as a private individual, maybe? A concerned citizen. Yes, sir. This is in reference to my friend. I'd like to ask 5 important questions that I have composed for him specifically. I don't want to take a lot of his time. I don't want to be rude to him or anything like that. I just want to be polite and be done with that, you know. Well, she's a friend, and naturally friends are concerned for friends, you know, but I'd like to know, like, I have, okay, here's the basic gist of it. I have some suspicions about the agency that you work for, and I'm just kind of, I have some good basic questions about, like, is your department or agency engaging in, yes, you are. So I think I mentioned that. Did I mention this is a recorded line? Okay, good. So basically, I just want to know, my suspicion is that the agency that you're working for is somehow complicit in some kind of malicious activity towards her, or some kind of sabotage. And I want to know if that's true or not, first off. What would you say, sir? Well, you know you're stonewalling. Yes, sir, you're stonewalling. Stonewalling.
I just want to add here, I'm very glad that he stated that the individual he was speaking to was stonewalling. He had to repeat it a couple of times, because I'll tell you for a fact that they have no idea what you're talking about. These are not the brightest stars on the planet.
Well, you're not telling me the truth. Okay. Well, I take that back. I got a lot of cause and effect, but I mean, are your officers working to ensure that she is in her property is safe? I mean, if you were, you would be able to say yes, but you're not really able to answer that question. According to the laws that your company, your agency you work for establishes for you. Now, do the people pay your salary? Did you take an oath to protect the public? Your jurisdiction? Yes or no? What's your name, sir? What's your badge number? Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of the call. So he was being stonewalled, gaslit, you know, all of the psychological terms that we all know that they employ to pretend. They play, let's pretend I don't know what you're talking about. Let's pretend that you're delusional. Just let's pretend. Let's pretend. Now, obviously, the Sheriff's Department is well aware of it because I am living here since 2019 and have been reporting the crimes here since then. The former sheriff and then the current sheriff, who was a deputy during the entire time that the former sheriff was the sheriff. So the current sheriff has been at that department the entire time I have lived here, where the former sheriff was for approximately 4 years. Now, we all know that the current sheriff is complicit. He also has a conflict of interest because he has babies, children, kiddos, with a relationship to the Eddie and the Scarlett Marks people. You know, the ones that are stalking me, the poopy diaper nurse, you know, poopynurse.com. They're all in it together because they're all part of the family. When I say family, they don't actually have to be blood relatives. And from what a local person stated was that that is not her daughter. Okay, so I don't know all the details of it. I don't know who belongs to whom. All I know is that Scarlett continues for all of these years to call Daniel Isaacs her brother, her son-in-law, which I have discovered is not true. But either way, she considers him to be son-in-law. So evidently there is a huge conflict of interest. Now, I've been in the business world for years and years. I mean, you know, I'm in my mid-60s at this point. I've had businesses. I was a corporate human resources manager. And, you know, when you're in a level like that, you cannot engage in conflicts of interest. And if you do have one, you have to remain unbiased in order to perform the functions of your job. Most people who are employed do not take an oath of office because they're just workers. But when you are a government official, you take an oath of office. And every sheriff in the country takes an oath. They take an oath to the state of Kentucky, an oath of office. And generally, it's to the Constitution. And every state, to the best of my knowledge, has their own Constitution. Like Kentucky has the Kentucky Constitution. And then there's the Constitution of the USA. Now, from what I understand about the Constitution and about these public servants, and that's basically what they are. They want to think of themselves as above the law, but they are paid by taxpayer dollars. And obviously all the corrupt ones are paid under the table with grants. You know, it's funneled in different ways, cities, states, you know, the COPS program, through the Department of Justice. There's no oversight to these programs. So the money is funneled into communities, and these community groups decide how they're going to utilize it with your tax dollars. And the complicit ones are the county lawyer, the sheriff. Now, his deputies may or may not know what's going on. They're not always told everything. They're told something, but not all of the details. And sometimes these community-based agents don't even tell the sheriff exactly everything. Like that right now, that every night there are 2 stalkers on my property every night. They're cloaked. They are vandalizing my property, which is why something can be vandalized on my property. I could be at the top of the hill, come down, and something is vandalized. And people say, why don't you have cameras? Why don't you have this? You don't understand. There was a whistleblower that came forward and said that every targeted person has somebody within 30 feet of them at all time. Now, that may or may not be true, but I certainly believe that in my case, that these people stalk me. My motion sensor lights go off. There's no animals there. Nothing outside. All my animals are in for the night. Not even a raccoon is out yet. But my motion sensor lights go on. I want to say that 2 more motion sensor lights were down on the floor, plucked off of the trees. There is an all-out assault on my property. When I listed it for sale, and you publicize all the things that you did to the property, that turns into these stalkers' bucket list. Everything I listed, they started to sabotage. The motion lights, they started taking down and vandalizing. The cut wood, they started hacking, peeling the bark off of it, burning holes in my buildings, puncturing holes in my new window sealers, vandalizing all the decks, the gutters, the water catchments, the grass. It's obviously to depreciate the value of the property so that somebody come in and swipe it up. I've been down this rodeo before, and I'm going to say it again. It's not going to happen. I'm going to make sure that this sheriff's department, this county pays. And I'm going to make sure that this is publicized. And I will get a journalist. I will get maybe that civil rights lawyer. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to reach out to anybody that wants to report on public corruption, real estate mobbing, community harassment, stalking. I've got all the evidence here. And now I have had 2 subscribers, and one redid one of my videos, slowed it up, and you see 2 stalkers in front of my house. This is irrefutable evidence. And Daniel Isaacs, if you're listening to this, and all you losers out there, I am never giving up on this until you guys come clean. You're all complicit, and you will all be exposed. And I promise my neighbors, everything that you've stolen from me, you're going to be paying me back. I promise. So you better get your money together, because I am coming after you. Chris Bowles, the Marks guys, girls, the Perkies, and anybody else that's involved in harassment, thefts, vandalism. And I want to know where all of my stuff went. I want to know where my framed master's degree went. I want to know where my New Jersey license plates went. I want to know where the check went that I mailed to my land surveyor. The letter got there without the check. I want to know where my iPad is, my new wallet. I want to know where all my food disappeared to. I want to know who cut down 3 greenhouses. New greenhouses. And I'm never going to shut up. I want to know who cut off all the figs from all my fig trees this summer. Who stole all the strawberries? Who burned all the blackberry and raspberry shrubs? I want to know who planted the mold on my driveway. I want to know who planted the carpet of weeds in the gravel. I want to know who shot the bullet holes through my no trespassing sign and then scraped it so that it's not visible anymore. I want to know who is burning holes in my trees. Daniel Isaacs. What kind of sheriff are you? You're not doing your job. And like I said before, you will be receiving everybody's going to be receiving certified letters when I get into town. And I'm still waiting on my incident report that I filed against Scarlett Marks. Her felony stalking, driving back and forth 4 times, calling me a heifer, photographing me. This is my private property. And from what I understand, even though there is an easement, that easement is part of my acreage. It's part of my acreage that is loaned to the county for use of that road. It's still my acreage. The agreement is that you're required to take care of it, and you haven't been. You have not been caring for this county road. You have not been caring for the county creek. And there's a deliberate agenda to make it appear as if I'm not caring for my property because you're vandalizing it and throwing filth in my buildings, in my house, and on the property. But I can tell you that I know what your agenda is, in addition to your agenda to flood my property and steal it. I am not an idiot, and I know what you're doing. And you will all be called out, including Judge Shane Gabbard, the local judge, I forget his name. I tried to write to the magistrate. I got the actual email address from his office, and it came back undeliverable. Isn't that imaginable? Just amazing. And I ain't ever going to stop, and I'm not going to shut up. And for everybody that has been contacting my real estate agents to sabotage the sale of my property, you will be prosecuted. And I know for a fact because my neighbor next door, she loves to use her handwriting. She's so stupid, she thinks that nobody knows what her handwriting is. Or the fact that I studied handwriting analysis when I was in New Jersey. She's so stupid that she wrote a handwritten letter to my eyewitness when her husband tore down my gate on the county road and he threatened my worker with his 15-year-old son with a weapon. A loaded weapon that he carries on his hip. The evidence is incontrovertible, and I'm not going to be stonewalled, and my subscribers are not going to be stonewalled. They're experiencing a lot of what I am, and we are exposing this year, and we all seek restitution, and that means arrests of you guys, prosecution, and we're going to shut down this program. We're going to get those fusion centers shut down. So all you operatives that come in here and spread the defamation, do you have any idea? When you win a defamation lawsuit, you can win a lot of money. I won a defamation lawsuit in New Jersey. That's right, folks. I don't talk about it because it sucks. It totally sucks. And just for the record, defamation is speaking about individuals in a way that is untrue. If you're speaking the facts about someone, you've got evidence and proof that you're showing, it's incontrovertible. If the sheriff doesn't want to send somebody here to photograph the vandalism, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Just because they don't want to acknowledge it. Because the karma falls back on you for not acknowledging it. That's okay. I'm going to make you acknowledge it in writing. If you choose to do nothing, that's your issue. The karma will fall back on you and everybody that you're involved with, including your entire department. And that goes for the county lawyer who tells you what to do when you need to own up to being the sheriff and speak over that guy. You don't report to him. He reports to you. You could look that up on the internet. Doesn't take much. But anyway, before I go rambling on here, thank you so much, subscriber, for calling Sheriff Daniel Isaacs. I know that you wanted to omit that, but I'm not going to. Sheriff Daniel Isaacs, you need to do your job and admit what's going on here. You already received a letter from one of my subscribers who also contacted the local newspaper who did not air the grievance. That's okay. I will air the grievances. I have a platform, I've got a voice, and I'm going to continue. And if you want to continue stalking me, harassing me, vandalizing my property, and not acknowledging that there are 2 operatives on my property every night, I guarantee that if my property does not sell, if you continue to sabotage my property, I will make you pay for all the damages that you did. Not only to me, but in a second lawsuit for my nonprofit. So that's going to be 2 lawsuits on your tag for what you've done to my nonprofit and what you've done to me and my property. That's right. So you can take your $250,000 maximum and times it times 2, and that's what you're going to owe me. Plus. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I'm going to sign off for now.